So what is a struct? The developers of C say that a structure is a collection of one or more variables, possibly of different types grouped together under a single name for convenient handling. Opening a program in VS Code, we can create a struct using the struct keyword followed by a name. We create any number of member variables of different data types and use a semicolon after our final curly brace. A quick example of this would be a struct called point, where we have an integer for our x and y coordinate. And this is great and all, but how would I use this in C, you might be asking? Let's start by learning the different ways we can initialize a struct. Going back to our xy point example, we can initialize a struct using what's known as the dot operator, where we take the name of our struct and access the member variables by placing a period after our struct name. We can access our variables with the dot operator in a printf statement as well. If we go to our terminal in VS Code, we can use the gcc command to compile our program. After running our program, we see that we accessed our member variable and printed its value of 1. Using the same example, we can also use an ordered initializer, which initializes the member variable values in order. This would print 2. Using a similar point example, let's take a look at other ways we can initialize our struct member variables. We can create our struct point and then use a designated initializer to initialize the member variables. Keep in mind as well that if we use this method and don't specify the value for one of these member variables, it will automatically be initialized to 0. Using Typedef for a struct is ubiquitous in C and considered best practice. We start out by using the Typedef keyword followed by the word struct. The syntax is similar and we create the member variables as usual. However, this time we create a name for our struct to avoid typing the keyword struct over and over. Now it's time to access the member variables of our struct. We've already accessed our member variables using the dot operator in C, and for our employee struct, the process remains the same, so we can just print out Bob's name using bob.name in our print statement. Now, this is pretty common in C, but if we want to access a member variable through a pointer, we can create an employee pointer that points to our employee Bob. Using the arrow operator, we can access and print Bob's employee ID. So what if we want to modify the value of a member variable in a struct? In C, this is most commonly done through pointers. Let's say Bob is a pretty good employee, and he deserves a raise. We could create a function that takes in an employee pointer. Then we can use our arrow operator to modify Bob's salary by some set amount. If we go to our main function and pass in Bob by pointer, we can modify the value of his member variable salary in memory. Now, if we take a look at the output of this program, we will see Bob's old salary as well as his pay raise by 2.5. So, another quick tip for this basic structs video. What's stopping us from having a struct within a struct? Well, actually nothing. You can totally do it and it happens a lot in C. Let's create a struct called student, and then I want you to pay close attention to how I initialize the student named Alice, and how we access a member variable of date. Using the dot operator twice, this code will print out 20. Alright, time for a quick recap. We know that structs can be initialized in a number of ways. These ways include using the dot operator, as well as designated and ordered initializers. We also know that we can access structs through the dot and arrow operators. We usually modify our structs through pointers as well. Typedef also deserves an honorable mention. I hope you learned the basics of structs in this video, and like and subscribe for more content just like this.